Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life. What number is it? It is 243. So I'm so used just to looking at it on the screen, I didn't see it. So I thought, it was being covered up. Okay.
They used to let me put the while the animation was going, they used to let me put the comments on that, and then they stopped. So I'll wait to be
fair enough. Welcome to the show. It is I guess it's the 2nd of March, a new month, 2022. Welcome to the show, everyone. Certainly thank you for being with us tonight. Just wanted to, on the outset of the show, I just wanted to recognize the people of Ukraine and what's been going on lately there on that side of the world. It's horrible. Certainly none of us want this to happen. We'd all like it to be reversed or stop as soon as possible. And I just ask everyone to have their thoughts and prayers for the people of Ukraine, and do anything you can in your own life to support them. It's something that we can all make a little bit of a difference, and we certainly, all of us can make some sort of a difference, and together we can make a big difference. So let's try to be proactive in this cause.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that got me into electric vehicles in the first place was war for resources.
Right.
I mean, if you look at history, there were times where people fought war for salt. And today, no one fights wars for salt because, we have refrigeration and other things that have replaced it. And so today we fight wars for what? Oil. And if we can move beyond fossil fuels, have a future free from fossil fuels, we can also have one that's free from those resource wars for oil.
Right. Yeah, especially like this one is oil and natural gas. That's when you look down at what they're doing. I mean, there's the eco trip. Yeah, there's the lost girlfriend I'd never had. I want her back, and she doesn't want me. There's when you boil
the pretenses.
It down. Yeah, he's got a lot of excuses, but when you boil it down, it's because he wants the natural gas and oil. And then when you consider how much territorial waters has natural gas in it, in the Ukrainian side of it, that he would like for himself, because they supply most of Europe.
And actually, the Tesla world intersected with Ukraine because they had asked Elon for Starlink satellites.
And he got
dishes
in record time.
to help them with infrastructure being shut down and modified. Being able to have an internet connection to be able to speak to your people is ideal, or speak to your army is something that is required. And Elon supplied within 2 days a truck full of Starlink dishes delivered directly to Ukraine. So again, when we all do something, we can make a big difference.
And selfishly, because the Russian funds were cut off, your trucker convoy never made it here.
Yeah, well, I still see that's coming. So,
well,
it's certainly not going to be as big as it was previously. But
the ringleader was ranting and raving about how nobody showed up, and that was the last I heard of it. And I was like, well, would we even know? The traffic is so bad. Would we even know that they were doing their thing?
Yeah,
that's so bad. That's funny.
Well, let's get on to the news of the week. There's obviously a lot of it. We're going to try to plow through it all. This opening story is basically what I've called a tale of two cities. So there's a city in Maryland that has looked at the Model Y's abilities and have decided that it makes sense for them to purchase that as their next patrol car. So they've actually made the purchase. They've decked the car out. There was some promotional pictures shown. We've shared them on our Twitter feed. And then on the other side of the country, in Spokane, Washington, a group for the city officials had looked at the Model Y, and for whatever reason, the numbers for the Model Y didn't impress them. And they have decided that they're not going to bring a electric vehicle into the fleet at this time.
Left coast shaming. Oh man.
I'm not trying to coast shame, but what I'm just putting out the question openly is, how do some people get completely turned around on the same information? We've had a number of police departments that have pulled EVs into their midst, Tesla vehicles for that fact, and there's been a number of papers written on it, white papers, showing spreadsheets showing how much is there to save. It's right there in black and white. If you're any type of a city accountant, the numbers should be pretty plain and easy to understand. I'm just kind of wondering how two cities could get it completely different in their minds. Is it something beyond just the black and white numbers?
All the cities and counties that partake, they always show you their figures. Did Spokane say what they did? And if they didn't, as a Spokane citizen, can you demand that they show you their numbers? Because it sounds like perhaps they thought they needed to buy 8 fast chargers or some crap like that. That would definitely
Freedom of information.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could put a FOIA request in, couldn't you?
Yeah, so this is part of the human condition. We like to think that we are rational creatures. We're not. Right. We are emotional creatures, and we make emotional decisions, and then the job of our rational brain is to justify the emotional decision we've already made. So if whoever at Spokane didn't like Tesla and found a way to make numbers add up by cherry picking to get the result they already wanted emotionally, and that's just, I'd like to say that I'm above it or you're above it, but that's how we all work. It's true. Just part of being human.
Or Hockey Day has another theory.
Oh,
I can't quite point to it because we're
dealership paid off. Is it over there? Is that the one? Is that
there it is. You're pointing right out.
So normally Ford sells police vehicles, right? So maybe Ford gave them a little bit of information,
and Dodge.
Okay, yeah. So they could have got some misinformation from somewhere. The internet's full of it, so they could have got onto a Russian misinformation site and said EVs are horrible and you should all buy gas cars with gasoline from Russian sources.
Right, but Hockey Day's got a point. They are the only police department out of all of this that's saying anything like it, except for LA saying they didn't like the BMW.
That's certainly true. That has not been the case with anybody else that we've reported on. Now, there may be some that have done their own internal review and it just hasn't publicized it.
Right.
That's a possibility. But
they didn't come out and say, we're going to we changed our mind.
This is the only one that's come out in the media that said, we looked at the numbers and we weren't impressed. So
yeah.
We will have to see if more comes from that story as time goes along. So,
although I wonder if maybe the Lightning or something that's got power output. Obviously, you can't do a Korean car because that would freak them out. But an American car with power output, I wonder if that might change their numbers the first time they have a fire or other natural disaster that cuts power for a while.
Next, Casey's got a story about a screen that is a little bit more than what can be seen from the outside.
So when we brought to you the news of the Model S and Model X refresh, we pointed out that on the sales screen that it mentioned that the screen rotates. Let me really quickly see if that is still there. And so what happened was our favorite Tesla teardown crew over at Munro and Associates, they are tearing down a Tesla Model S Plaid.
They did what they do best.
Right.
It's really cool to see information, but it's so sad to know that a Tesla gave its life.
I understand that part. Okay, so I went to the Model X page and did a Control F and typed in the word rotate and came back with 0 mentions. But on the sales page, it did say that the screen rotates. And Munro and Associates found that they still have most of the hardware required for the screen to rotate in the dash. They've got an apparatus. What is missing is a pair of motors and a guide pin that will keep the screen from flopping around once it does come out from the dash. So I was picking up my car from getting the air conditioner serviced, and one part I'll talk about another story we've got later today, but another part, I had asked the sales rep, which it's a hit or miss situation. But on this other point, I asked him, and you could tell he was concealing information. He's like, but on this one, he wasn't sure. I said, so if you ordered a car while they were advertising that the screen could rotate, and obviously none of them do yet, are they going to make it right by installing the pin in the motors, or are you just SOL? How does this work? And
he said, well, have you ordered one? And you said no. And he says, well, then it doesn't really matter to you, does
it? He's like, I got one right here. Do you want it? I said, I don't need 2 performance cars. How about some solar? I'm like, I'm not going to put solar on these people's rental. I've got it in my house, so I don't need it there.
So
$30,000 gift.
It was an interesting video. They took the screen out of the car. They showed the apparatus behind it, and they even anticipated what type of little motors or servos would be required in order to move it. But
they did a little demo with seat motors.
It seems that every one of them has it. The gears, the apparatus is there. It's looks like it could be an update in the future if they wanted to.
I wonder if perhaps it was just too late to remove it if they had changed their mind. But again, there's the whole part that it was actually listed on the website as your screen will rotate.
Yeah, you would think that they were going to move forward with it. Like, why on earth would be part of the advertising if they didn't intend it to be part of it?
Exactly.
Or they did intend it, but then they couldn't get parts. We're in a supply shortage, and so they're not going to hold up shipping the whole vehicle because the screen won't tilt a little bit left, right, when the ones they have today don't. So you just take that off of the website, saying, "Okay, we're not going to do it now," and start shipping vehicles.
And then you don't owe it to anybody who wasn't on their screen when they ordered.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if a couple motors show up in future Model S's, and it has exactly an upgrade available. As I still think that a Plaid Plus will show up at some point with the 4680 battery and a faster speed and such. I still think that's going to happen. It's just that they couldn't get the 4680s in production quick enough in order for the launch of the S and the X of the refresh.
Right.
So.
And since they had stopped production stupidly, they self-admitted, they couldn't wait for that. They had to get the S and X shipping again, and so they're not going to hold it up.
Yeah. Speaking of shipping from a factory, this next story is a little bit of an update from last week when we talked about the possibility of a second Chinese factory. We saw indications from cities that were kind of competing about talking about Tesla, about having it come to their city, Beijing and other cities. This story talks about how Shanghai is in the running for an exact second copy of the current Shanghai factory for Tesla to meet demand of its vehicles. So obviously, Tesla is still thinking that there is a growing demand in China, and why not think that when every single one of your vehicles that are made at that plant are either sold locally or shipped out. Capacity they could certainly increase and still sell them all, I would imagine. And based on the rumors that are flying about, it looks like they're going to need a second factory. So it looks like Shanghai. It wants to be in the running for that second factory as well. I'm not sure if does it make sense to build double the capacity in the same city you're in? Certainly logistically, you could say yes and no, because you've got parts that are flowing into that particular city now. Their established routes of transport are already there. People are familiar, all sorts of things. And then, of course, the downfalls would be that if you spread it out, if there is a disruption for whatever reason in a certain city, you've got another city that's a distance away that may not be faced with the same disruptions. So that possibility exists. And of course, the old adage of if something's being shipped to Tesla Factory 1 in Shanghai and it was really supposed to go to Tesla Factory 2 in Shanghai, you could have some mix-ups in deliveries. But it is interesting to see that Shanghai is pushing for this as well. We really don't know what Tesla's idea is here, as to if they have a leaning one way or the other. But I would have to say that if there is a competing factor out there, that I would think that Shanghai would be near the top of the list, just based on the performance of the current factory and how satisfied they've been with the current workforce and management of that current factory.
Well, then you've also got, like they said, the Chinese government official was quoted as saying, "Hey, you know, we're minimizing disruptions, making it possible." Basically, the translation was roughly, "We're knocking down the barriers. It'll be available for them whenever they want it." That sounds like they want it, which is maybe Tesla's learned to stop putting stuff where people don't want it.
Yeah. They definitely have. Put up the Hockey Days comment again, so Mark gets a chance to see it.
The other one.
Hockey Day, something like I really don't know. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, and I'm sure more stories will appear over the weeks as this story grows. It gets a little closer to maybe someone making a decision on this.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Patrick's story. I believe you're taking this one of about the radar.
That's right. So this comes to us from Drive Tesla Canada, and is titled "Tesla Fully Ditches Radar as Model S and Model X Transition to Tesla Vision." So this has been dropped from the 3 and the Y for a while. Last year they did this, and now with the refreshed S and X, we are seeing the same thing. It no longer has radar, and the rationale for this is that the signal to noise ratio with radar was worse. So if you have vision camera-based systems, and then you're also getting a radar signal, if they don't agree, you have to pick one and say, this is the one that I trust. And radar has a lot of false positives. A lot of the phantom braking has been associated with radar. So radar doesn't give you as clear a picture as a camera does. So Tesla's trying to convert everything into what they call vector space. So it looks like a video game. And if you have the FSD Beta, you've seen that on your screen. And then they do path planning within that vector space and navigating it like a video game, because they've effectively converted reality to this vector space video game looking thing. But with radar, if there's a Coke can on the side of the road that has a dish-shaped bottom, you're going to get back a huge radar reflection from that. And that's not what's really there. If you're going over a slight hill and then down and there's a bridge and you get a massive reflection from that, it looks like it's right in front of you. And so that could cause phantom braking. So the real reason they were getting rid of radar was they were getting a lot of false positives, and that was causing things like phantom braking, which customers were not very happy with. So
and it's also not exclusive to Tesla.
Yes, exactly. It's not. And the whole, if a car is in front of you and they change lanes and what was in front of them was something stopped or stationary, radar can fail to detect that. And that's true across the board, where one of the things that Tesla did, they filed a patent on this that was really cool, was they have used their camera systems to get LiDAR-like information for distancing. And they were getting it as accurate as LiDAR. And it's because you're getting multiple frames. You can do parallax within frames. You can do all kinds of cool stuff to figure out, okay, where something was a second ago and where it is now, and what that means for how far away from you it actually is. So they were able to get a lot of great information out of cameras by having high quality cameras, having neural networks, having them trained with these other systems, so that whenever you're doing neural net training, you need to be able to say, yes, that was a correct or incorrect decision to train the neural net. So Tesla actually had a car with LiDAR on and drove around with that, collected data, and said, okay, we've learned how to do this, and now we're going to apply it in other self-learning methods with the fleet. And so having the massive amount of data that Tesla does, they can do some really cool stuff. And if they can do this better without radar, I'm all for it. That's great. I want a future where cars can drive themselves, because thousands of people die because they are getting accidents. There's distracted drivers, drunk drivers, whatever. If we can get to a point where vehicles can drive themselves, that's going to allow mobility for people that have disabilities or people who have poor vision or too old to drive, whatever the reason may be. It offers freedom of mobility to a lot of people that don't have it now. And even for the people that do have it now, it allows them that time back to, if you want to be on your phone instead of driving, well, if you have a self-driving car at some point in the future, because they don't exist yet, you'll be able to do that. And so this is one small step that Tesla's making to help get us there, and I think it's great.
Got a thought experiment for you, Patrick. What does that L stand for in laser?
Oh, I don't know. What is laser is an acronym, right? So light amplified ranging.
Light.
Yeah, light.
So what does the camera detect?
Right. Yes. One's passive, the other's an emitter. But yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
I do have to mention that the false brake, or what they call it, the braking,
phantom braking.
Yeah.
Some people have still reported that even in vehicles that have eliminated the radar. Yes, Casey, hands up in the back. What's that?
No, I mean, I'm one of those people, but
okay.
it is less than it was on radar, but
right.
It is still there. But that's just a matter of them smoothing out whatever is freaking the car out. Like it sees something and it just processes it wrong, and out of abundance of caution, it wants to slow down. Which
right.
I can appreciate.
I have a hypothesis. This is in the true sense of that word. I have no data to back this up, but if they had trained the neural net using radar as this is what correct behavior is, and the radar had phantom braking, then the initial version of the neural net's going to have that same bias.
Yes.
Because that's what it was trained toward. And so now that they're no longer doing that and they're using cameras only, all those edge cases where it did say, oh, you should brake here because that's what the radar told it to do, they're going to iron those out. Yeah. And then the other day I had one, I was driving with FSD Beta, and there was a couple walking their dog, and they were coming toward this intersection, and then they just turned the corner and stayed on the sidewalk, but it hit the brake. And it was dark. It was kind of hard to see them. So if I weren't paying attention, which I was, and I saw them and I saw why it braked, if I didn't know that's the reason, I would have just assumed, why did you brake? Those people were obviously, I didn't even see them. I was like, there was nothing. Or I was like, they were obviously not coming in the street. You shouldn't have hit the brakes. But it was out of an abundance of caution, hitting the brakes, and then everything was fine. So in some cases, it might just be being a little safer than you would.
Did yours give you the collision alert when it did that?
No, but it did in the other case where the pedestrian was jaywalking that I talked about in the show.
That's what mine. They were about to jaywalk, but they saw me coming quick, so they stopped. But then the car saw them, and it didn't see them stop, and so it stopped and beeped at me, and then they jaywalked anyway.
Oh.
They're like, thanks. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I did stop. I wasn't stopping if the car would.
I wasn't going to let you through. I knew you weren't coming through.
Yeah.
Let's go for a different...
Real quick, Hockey Day asked when will other manufacturers realize phantom braking from radar? They already do. Some of them have a smart cruise off or whatever their system is off button because their customers have been so annoyed by something on the side of the road, like a Coke can, making the car slam on the brakes. And the difference with Tesla is that if you paid for the feature and it had been activated on your car, there was no dumb cruise button. It was just keep going. And so I think that's where the biggest annoyance came from and the disconnect between the two approaches. Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
Next, we'll move into another topic, and this is with Tesla Energy. We know about the MegaPacks being produced and shipped off to new customers. Well, apparently, Alaska had decided that they needed some MegaPacks, and Tesla teamed up with them to produce, it was 37 MegaPacks to be installed on Alaska's Kemal Peninsula, which was supporting a few... Kenai. Sorry, I got an L at the end of my my story here. So they had installed these MegaPacks, 37 of them, And actually, we got a photo of it. I could share it just so you can kind of see it in the snow. That's kind of cool. That they're just hanging out in the snow, keeping warm.
Mm-hmm.
Got to keep the lithium-ion batteries.
Yeah, keep it warm.
Cozy.
Keep it warm and keep it cold.
Right. Yeah, they like similar temperatures to humans. So if you're uncomfortably cold or hot, so are they.
Exactly. Tesla even had a nice little video of it too.
There they are,
That
all
is
hanging out in
cool.
the snow. So apparently, this was to supplement a gas generator that is in the community as well. This community apparently has an issue with power about 4 months of the year. And this installation was to not eliminate, but drastically reduce the amount of time that this peaker generator has to run. So we were kind of bantering back and forth before the show started about what. Whoa!
Sorry,
about
it was muted
what,
when I did it last time.
what this particular town is doing to top up those batteries. Where does the energy come from? Solar? Does it come from possibly the gas generator when it's running? Maybe it produces more than it's required by the community, so it's storing some of it into a battery. We're really not sure. We've just kind of tossed around some possibilities.
Well, but even if so, think about how this area works today. And they're getting hydro for most of the year, and then 4 months of the year that they're on their own, and they have to run their own gas turbine. Well, that if you start out with it fully charged, that's going to buy you some time and that's going to be from cleaner hydro. And then when you do have to run your own local gas turbine, you have to run it at more capacity than what the area needs, because you can't have brownouts, right?
Right.
So if now you're able to take the say you're running it at 110%, and that's going to fluctuate during the day, any extra, instead of just being dumped to ground, can go to the Tesla packs. And then at some point the Tesla packs are full, and you can shut the turbine off and run off of those for a while. So now, even if you are using fossil fuels, which everybody knows I'm against because I talk about it every week, but even if you are, you're using it far more efficiently, which is great. I mean, if that's what you have to use to keep the lights on, you don't want to be wasting it. You want to use it efficiently. And these batteries help make that happen.
And you can also not run it at the worst part of the day where the fumes are just going to sit. So like you can wait till whatever part of the day where there's less of an air quality concern.
Yes, yeah. And if it's an area like that, you're going to have inversions that trap the gases locally, and so that might be a perfect time to turn it off. That's a great idea.
Or when the wind is going to the low-income housing, or directly at the elementary school from the exhaust.
Yeah. So another installation. We've seen these happen in other remote areas like islands in the South Pacific. We've seen them pop up from places that had a natural disaster. It's obviously it's a solution that can be used anywhere, depending on its application. But it's great to see that these continue to go to the far corners of the earth in different climate situations, so that you continue to build the white paper case for anyone can use these things. Some of them have been used with a hospital, for example, particularly just to power that, let alone this being a community. But it is great to see that they continue to push out and go to new situations to show that batteries can work anywhere.
That way you don't have some random city say they can't afford a MegaPack.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. And once you have those, you can have significantly more renewable energy on your grid without it causing problems, because you have that battery as a cache to buffer all of that. That's exactly what we want. Today, if you have more than about 20% renewables, it's difficult to manage. Well, not if you have battery packs. If you have battery packs there, you can easily go up to 80% without any problem. So it's really cool.
All these power companies that say they don't know how to manage or can't deal with home solar, which is like a significantly small fraction of whatever's going on. Just dump a couple megapacks at the start of each neighborhood, or wherever electrically the start of the neighborhood is. Obviously, not at the entrance.
Yeah, they just want to claim they're having some problems, so they can then use that as a justification to raise rates. But
raise rates
why
and
would
install themselves.
Why would any capitalist do that?
Right. Raise rates and install themselves.
That's never happened before.
Of solar, but directly under their own control.
Yes.
Who's going to talk about the VIN numbers? I forget.
Is it out of Austin?
Number.
Out of Austin, absolutely.
Yeah, then I got to talk about that one. Yeah, so as longtime listeners will know, Mark and I have an ongoing bet about which site is going to ship cars first, Giga Berlin or Giga Austin. And it's coming down to the wire, despite the head start that he had. And so we have our first reports that there are VIN numbers assigned that have an A in them, meaning they are coming from Austin and not Fremont. Now, the first few of these that we saw were probably fake, because when you plugged them into the VIN checker, they were not valid VINs. But now we're actually getting valid VINs. And so this one was posted. The guy used his real name, Jared, I can't say it, Wolney. And he has a delivery window of this month. So we could be seeing the first Austin Gigafactory Teslas on the road this month. That would be incredible.
And it's being shipped to Denver, Colorado. That's where this guy resides.
Yes. Yeah, that's not Texas.
if it was in Texas, we'd be like, he might be lying to us.
Right. Yes.
Well, he could be in Texas. He just has to accept it in Tulsa.
Or Colorado, apparently.
Or Mexico.
So it's interesting.
And although I will say it does look grim for the Berlin crowd of getting a vehicle shipped to a client first, I did hear on the internet today that a person that has a lot of leaked information, Sawyer is his name, on Twitter indicated that Berlin is getting final approval within the next 24 to 48 hours. Awesome. Is what he had indicated. Now, does that mean they'll actually be shipping cars before this first one arrives in Colorado? Probably not. But it is good to see that at least Berlin is moving along in the stage of getting it up and running on its feet. And as we've said in previous episodes, Patrick and I are both kind of surprised that it's taken this long to get either of those factories up and running. It's been a long haul. Here we are in March.
Right. I really hope both of them start delivering this month, because then, awesome. Then when they do their Q1 call, they can say both factories have started delivering. Both of them are going to be ramping up in Q2, and that I think will be very exciting. That's a lot more vehicles on the road this year. That'll be really helpful. And if they don't start delivering soon, Mark, your estimate not going to do very well. No,
I got to get those numbers up.
David's number especially needs all the factories open. So I wonder if either they've run out of excuses in Germany, or if some of the organizations, either governmental or automotive in Germany, are starting to realize what CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, has realized, that they really have some catching up to do when it comes to catching up to Tesla and NIO were the two that Farley mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or could it be that the German business community is paling in the eyes of people that want to set up a new factory in Germany, and they're going, why would we bother when we see the hoops that Tesla had to go through to get their factory up and running, and the delays that were set out in front of them? That could be some of it too.
They lost 6 applications. Gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We mentioned Sandy Munro earlier in the show. One of his rants was, if you're putting roadblocks up to Tesla, you're not helping the Ford and Chevy and GM. You're actually helping the Chinese, and that just gives them more opportunity for their vehicles to become more prominent in the world. And if that's what you want to do, great. But that's not what I think
Because in Germany, you want the German vehicles to succeed, and Tesla
Yes.
is German. And in America, you want the American vehicles to succeed. Tesla is American. You
You're
don't
not
really want to
according
be
to some
bringing them in from
people,
China.
but-
Well, yeah, not according to some people.
Yeah.
Akide also
It's
brings
not-
up a point that Ford is realizing this, and they've restructured their company to handle what exactly Mr. Farley said.
Yeah, they talked about splitting it off with an IPO, and then they said weren't going to IPO. I didn't follow the latest. Yeah.
So now they have the Model E, which is the electric division, which doesn't make any sense because it's a division and not a car. And then they've got Ford Blue, which is fossils.
Hmm.
Yeah, but there's still one
They
company.
they want to call the company Model 3, but someone else has that patent on that.
Right.
They could have done a trade when they could have.
They could have.
Next, let's get on to Tesla has launched a new website with online lessons within the U.S. to start with, and it's entitled "Get to Know Your Tesla." So there is this new portal that you can sign up to and receive some online lessons that will teach you a little bit about the Tesla and what the different types. As you can see on the screen, you've got the Model S, the 3, and the Y. No X at this time for whatever reason. But you actually have to schedule a time
They're making people get them.
and a date to be part of it. So this is a live interaction with someone on the other end that should be able to answer questions in live time, as well as, I imagine, show some types of presentations with pictures and videos indicating how the vehicle works. I can't partake in this because I'm Canadian. It's only in the U.S. at this point.
It's online.
But
why does it make a difference? You speak English? I can understand not in Quebec.
I gotta spend money on that VPN so I can look American.
There you go. Yeah.
I can't tell the difference. But I would get it if it was in what do you call it in Quebec? But no, this doesn't make any sense.
Even if it was in Quebec, if a
They speak
person
English
is
too
taking
sometimes.
the time to say I want to participate, then why would you not let them? Like
Right.
it's.
I get it if you had to go rent space in a hotel conference room, but this is not that.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they're rolling it out and trying it. So
Perhaps.
yeah, I've had jobs where I develop software, and you roll it out to a large group, and then one of the things, there's always somebody who like, oh, why did you try it that way? No, it should be like this. So I would have office hours where people could like call in and ask questions, and it wasn't so this is exactly the right thing. People like us, we can go to forums, we can post stuff on. We've had Trev from Tesla Owners Online, and you can get answers. Either your local Tesla community mailing list. I've asked questions on this show. Oh, like what? No, let me see. How do I do that? And Casey's told me. I mean, stuff like that. But not everybody has those resources. So I think this is a great idea. Tesla cars are not like other vehicles. There is a bit of a learning curve, acknowledging that for people who this is their first EV or their first Tesla or first both. This is an awesome idea. And there are U.S. companies, so rolling it out here first, and then if it works well, working out the kinks. How many people can they invite at once? How many should they have? How many languages should they support? Whatever. That's not a bad idea. Start small and grow it when you've worked out the kinks.
Yeah,
I remember picking up my Model 3 day it was delivered in Toronto at the International Center, sitting down with about 50 other people in this large room where they were showing a slideshow and talking about the basics. And I was like, if I didn't know about this car as I did, I would have been questioning what was going on. Like I was just imagining if there happened to be people in the crowd that had ordered that vehicle with no knowledge about what the car was, they would have been lost.
Right.
So yeah, this type of education is vital, especially that we've gotten by the early adopters a while ago that really looked into the car, saw every video there was on the car, devoured any type of media information they could about the car. We are now into a phase where people are getting the car because they've heard it's good and they've looked it up from a friend or they test drove somebody else's. and they're all in on it. So we need this type of education, definitely.
Yeah, when you brought this article to us, I was thinking it would be another version of their video site that they already had. So I was surprised to see that it was live. That was cool. And I hope they answered the question of what the little yellow squiggle with the exclamation mark is, about you should add air to your tires. It's a online enthusiast joke. Like every winter, we get the question about what does the TPMS logo mean.
and why do I want bacon on my seat?
Right.
Do I have to go make bacon and put it there? What?
Just remember, more bacon is better.
You have to feed your Tesla bacon it.
Yeah, exactly. Next story is an update that Canada has now become the second country officially to being given the right to have FSD Beta. So just earlier in the week, the update happened. I believe it was the last day or the second last day of the month, and the update rolled out so that the safety score has now been evoked, and people that have a car that's equipped that can handle FSD Beta, they have been given the option to get into the program. The safety score starts, and we're anticipating 1 week from that particular date, which is just a few days from today, that a number of people with at least 100% scores will be allowed into the program as well. Elon had indicated that they're going to roll it out slowly in Canada. So there is the possibility that maybe not all 100% people with 100 score will get in. We're not really sure, but we should have a better idea once these next couple of days pass and the week is up for many people. I've been watching it on social. There's a ton of people out there with 100% already that are happy to show their scores. There's a lot of anguish out there of people just waiting because, of course, they've been watching the Americans on the program now for months and want to get involved with it now. So we'll have to see in this next couple of days what happens with that.
Hopefully we see at least a couple hundred this weekend, but you never know with Tesla and this FSD.
You never know.
Yeah, I know how they feel because I was not one of the ones to get it early on. We had that 30 safety score day, but it was the right thing to do to not hit the other car. So
right.
But the fact that we had forward collision warning and heavy braking and other things that lowered our score, it's the safety score is not necessarily how you drive. It's more about the environment in which you drive, and that's a subtle but important difference. But from an insurance perspective, it makes sense. Even if you're a safe driver, if you're driving in an unsafe area and you have to do these maneuvers to not get into collisions, that still should lower your score. But that all aside, I haven't had it for that long, and I'm happy to have it. And in fact, I kind of think coming in at 10.8 when I did means that I'm only getting to see like the better side of it, because before that, my understanding from some of the videos and from the things Casey said is it was not very usable. But now you still absolutely have to pay attention.
Oh, yeah.
It does the wrong thing sometimes, and but for the most part, it's great. I had it going through these narrow streets in North Portland earlier this week, and it did a great job. No, it didn't have to do that. They weren't quite that narrow.
Not that narrow, but they were narrow.
No, but yeah. So that it's using the oncoming lane at times, and then So I mean, it had to do that because there were cars parked on both sides, and then like pulling over into gaps when other cars go through and pulling back out, and nice. It was cool to see doing all this. I'm like at the ready because I'm thinking it's going to do the wrong thing, and that's how you should be when you're using this. I'm probably more diligent when I have it turned on than when I'm driving.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's something to say to these new Canadians that are looking to get on this program is that this is no joyride. Yeah, it's fun to see how it operates and stuff, but you've got to be, I would say, at a higher level of attention than regular driving because you are trying to anticipate what the car may or may not do and react in a split second if it goes awry. So it's no joyride. It's a lot of work because your mind is racing at all times, trying to think of the possibilities that could happen and knowing that you may be lulled into a false sense of security when at that particular moment something could go wrong. So you've got to have your hands on that wheel and be able to react and get your foot near that brake pedal so you can react, or the accelerator pedal
Yes.
for some cases.
Yeah, sometimes it wants to just stop. So I did find out that 2 of the 3 times mine tried to jump us off a bridge, the paint was bad, and so
The paint?
the paint on the road was really crappy. Like they should have
Oh, I
repainted
see.
it years ago.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they thought it was in a lane, and so it tried to get over, and then no, it's not a lane, and
Yeah.
and
They
then
don't do that.
it hasn't been in oncoming traffic in several versions, but that's still a very real possibility. But it's not to say that it's bad. It's just as they're saying, you need to be ready to correct it. You're the trainer,
Mm-hmm.
so if you're not hitting that, in this case it's not an imaginary brake pedal, it's a real brake pedal for the driver's ed driving, then you're not being a very good teacher to the system.
Yeah.
Our next story touches on the 4680.
4680.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm dyslexic.
Who knows what their next format is going to be? Maybe you're right. It could be. So on Monday of this week, Panasonic made a big announcement. They are going to begin mass production of the new 4680 format. And now it's not happening anytime, like it's not going to be here this month. It's not until March of 2024. So they have to build their battery factory for this new format. And the more people that are building it, again, this gets us to economies of scale. That's the more use cases it's going to find outside of Tesla as well. And that all just means that the batteries get cheaper for everybody who's using them. And we don't know a whole lot about how Panasonic's going to be making them. Like, are they going to be using Tesla's tabless design, which is really a lot of little tabs, not tabless at all. But and are they going to be doing the solid electrodes or not? We there's a whole lot of things that we don't know about this, but it says they're investing 80 billion yen, which is 692 million US, on this new plant, as reported by the Nikkei newspaper. That's about all we know right now, and we'll find out a whole lot more over the next couple of years as this evolves.
We have people in social media, actually on our Twitter feed, which if you don't know is at the Tesla Life. If you'd like to join and follow us through the week, you can also follow us on our feed on Facebook. That would be the Tesla Life #1. And we thank Patrick for monitoring that publication. But the question came in on this posting that happened during the week was, why so late? Why, March of 2024? Aren't these batteries needed tomorrow? And in fact, yes, they are needed tomorrow. But as Patrick has mentioned, Panasonic has not made an actual assembly line yet, nor have they gotten, I believe, the specifics of how they need to build it. I think that Panasonic, in order for Tesla to receive these batteries from Panasonic, I would think that Tesla's special sauce would have to be in the battery production. I would guess.
At least for the Tesla.
I am guessing, but maybe Panasonic is given the rights to use Tesla's special sauce for the batteries that are produced for Tesla, but they're not able to do it if they're going to sell the battery to others. Maybe they're going to have 2 versions of the battery. I really don't know. But speculation, I would think that in order for Tesla to receive it to put it in their vehicles, it's got to be on par with what's being made at Cato Road now.
Right. Or better.
So go ahead, Casey.
It's going to be on par or better. And with the 4680s, you can fill them with iron as well. You don't have to fill them with nickel. But do we know that the Panasonic has made any high iron cells? So they would want to see the evolution of their existing format and get the Tesla, as you said, the secret sauce and put it in there to sell to them. But as we saw with my battery pack for my phone, it's 2170s. As we saw with the Tesla Roadster, it's 18650s. Why did those were in laptops? So as you said, the economies of scale is what's going to bring this thing forward. So like everybody's making 2170s now. Like even Rivian uses it. But the 4680s are going to probably go the same way. But I don't know if we're going to see tablets, dry electrodes, the whole kit. I don't know if we're going to see that.
But if we look at what happened at Battery Day and what was proposed in order to bring the cost down, it wasn't just the mass manufacturing of the batteries. It was the reorganization of how these batteries were actually made, right? Exactly. It was the elimination of the drying procedure, the elimination of reformatting the material, the raw material, before it was brought into the battery. There was a number of different things that they rolled into that cost dropping. And I'm thinking that Tesla is going to allow this possibly to go out to the world. And maybe there will only be one type of battery, and everyone will just adopt what Tesla has developed over time at Kato, and move to that type of production for everyone to have an advantage. Not sure about this whole thing.
Yeah, it would also explain why you need a new factory, because, like you said, it's a complete rethink of the assembly process. So you wouldn't really want to take down an existing factory to learn something new. You would lose so much output. So make a new one, tailored to the new process. Because, like you said, you're not need drying. You're not going to need the way that you process the raw materials. It's just put it in a new place. That way, you're not having to refactor, relearn, and do everything while in a downtime. So it's perfect sense. But to build a new factory takes 2 years.
Since we're speculating, I'm going to guess that Panasonic was waiting for high yields from Tesla. Yep. And 80% yield's not enough. Exactly. So Panasonic's going to want like 95+% yield, preferably 98+. And once they saw that was possible, there was a path to that, then they're going to start building the factory, because then they know that they can get to the specifications they need to do high volume. And so, like you guys were saying, it takes a while to build those battery lines, especially if things are done differently. And maybe they're not doing the what was it? The stuff where you don't have to dry it. Maybe they are going to dry theirs, because that's the process they know and it works, and they'll wait. But they can still get a lot of the benefit from the larger size, a lot of the benefits from tablets, and so they'll just take part of the benefit. As long as you can still get the performance, maybe it takes a little longer to make, but if it gives them high enough yields, they're not going to do it that way.
And like you're saying, you only need the whole bundle for the semi-truck and the Cybertruck. Yes. Everything else you can pick and choose, as long as it meets the minimum requirements for whichever car we're talking about. Right.
So maybe Panasonic delivers batteries for the Model Y, and Tesla does them for the other products, that the Roadster, the Semi, the Cybertruck.
Yep.
Next story is about the Canadian pension plan, and how that relates to Tesla is that this is one of the largest pension plans in the world, and they of course reinvest money from Canadians taken from their paychecks into a pension fund, and they apply it to a number of different companies. They've decided at this time to quadruple their holdings in Tesla, while in fact reducing it in GM and some other car manufacturers. So actually, I have to thank Patrick for sending this story out. He sent it over to take a look at earlier in the week. And definitely that has happened for the Canadian pension plan. So again, this is more acceptance in the financial world for Tesla and its longevity. People are starting to look at it as a stock that will grow and pay dividends to people, not necessarily dividends as in the real sense of the word, but in gaining of capital for the company, and of course the shares becoming worth more money. So this is interesting to see that they've quadrupled their holdings. So I hope they're successful, because I'm part of the program. So
apparently so is Hockey Day.
I hope they're wildly successful.
Yeah, so, pension plans are not known for taking huge risks with their money, so they've done the math, and they think this is a good bet.
Exactly. And I guess this. What's that?
I was gonna do the next one.
Go right ahead.
So I mentioned that the Tesla sales rep was a little sly when I asked him a question. So what had happened was I just sat myself in a Model S Plaid, and we were comparing the cooling of the seat to my car versus their car, and as you guys know, I put a yoke in my car, right? And we were talking about, it's like feeling the yoke. It's nice. they've got a different seam on theirs. It's like a groove, whereas mine is stitched like the old one. But then I asked him, I said, well, I hear this rumor that the airbag is going to become a horn button. And then he got this look on his face. He's like, no, you just push the button right there next to the thumb screw. And I was like, yeah, I know that. But I said, oh, well, while I'm here, is there anybody in here who's going to jump if I palm the thing? Because I wanted to see, I knew that was one way to activate the horn. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. I'm like, I was like, are you sure these people aren't going to be startled? And he's like, yeah, he's fine. So I palm the horn, and he goes, and the lady next in the Model Y next to us, she jumps out of her skin. And I was like... that was the whole point of me asking. But so I have a feeling that these airbag horn buttons are coming real soon, because they don't usually let the salespeople know anything until it's about ready to ship. So
that's true.
Good, yeah. And for the people who don't have this, like I said, you just palm the whole right hand side of the steering wheel, and it does exactly what you expect from a horn, and it's the same motion. It's like ah.
Right. Yeah, we have a lot of muscle memory just slamming and expecting it to honk, because you don't want to be looking for a particular little button at that time. You want to just be able to smack your hand down.
Right.
And that's a cool thing about it being software driven, is they realized, okay, people are just going to mash this whole right side, and we don't want to guess which of the three buttons they meant when they pressed it. We know they mean horn. So
exactly.
So just honk the horn if the whole right side gets mashed.
Right.
Hey, Hockey Day feels lonely in the chat. If you're out there, please send us in a note. Say hello. Say hi. Say anything.
I'm seeing several people in the stream, and I'm only saying Hockey Day chatting. Come on, guys.
Just say hello. That's all we want you to do. Just engage Hockey Day. We don't want him to feel lonely. So
exactly.
One final thing I'll touch on. I didn't even add this to the notes, but I have a couple of people that I know that are doing a cross-country charging that's happening right now. Cross-Canada charging. I'm going to bring up the photo here of the map. They're doing a cross-Canada charging spree. I think they're just outside of Winnipeg at this point. This photo is a little bit old. It shows them at the border of Manitoba and Ontario. But they've been driving since Monday, and they started in St. John's, Newfoundland. So they started on the Rock and had to take a ferry to get there. Wow. And have come back and onto the mainland in Nova Scotia and are making their way across Canada. And they just wanted to do this in order to promote that EVs, Teslas, can be used anytime. Winter, summer, fall, doesn't matter. They have the ability to charge quickly, and they're going to be recording this throughout the journey. And they, of course, will provide us with an end time as they reach Vancouver, BC. Maybe they could be going to Victoria. I didn't look. I knew they were going to BC, but the end of the road may be Victoria, which is on another island. So I'll have to take a second ferry. But we're certainly watching them, and we wish them good luck, safe and happy journeys as they make this tremendous run across the country.
Yep. Alan sends us a good vibes emoji. And Hockey Day says, yes.
There is somebody out there. Look at that.
There's quite a few somebodies. I'm surprised that it's just two tonight.
So just Alan has said something. Come on, somebody else out there. Just say hello. Send a smiley face if you can't type.
Indeed.
Well, with that, I think we've come to the end of another successful show. Certainly, if you haven't already, please press that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Helps us out in the algorithm and gets us in front of more eyes. And while we wait for you to do that and say hello in the chat room, Casey, what do you got going on this coming week?
So I've got some more videos to do. I've got a bunch of them that just need clipping together, and because you've seen my videos, and you see how long they are when I put them out. They're about 4 times as long when I actually make them. So I gotta condense them and make them.
Because they're in 4K, right? Is that how that works?
Actually, I've gone beyond 4K now. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The computer hates me.
I bet it does. I bet it does.
Yes.
60K, I can't take it.
Oh, not that high. My highest camera I think is 8K, but that's a 3D camera or 360 camera. The rest of them are around 5 and change. Yeah, but you can find that at youtube.com. That's KACEYGREEN.
Very good. And Mr. Connor, any updates from you this week?
Sure. Yes. As it says up there, I'm with carswithcords.net. I blog there occasionally. Right now, you can see 1 year with a Powerwall. What difference did it make for my electricity bill and my solar and all of that? It's all in gory detail. I've got an interesting one coming up in, let's see, it comes out on the 6th. So just 4 days from now. What's in your frunk? I'll leave you hanging. You got to find out what's in your frunk.
I will send you a picture of what's in my frunk today.
Okay, cool. Yes, you can post it as a comment on there.
I need to get another bottle of washer fluid in my frunk.
Always a good thing to have. Yep.
Especially now with FSD Beta, the thing will wash its own window. It's kind of like, I feel like it's judging me.
Like, you haven't cleaned me recently enough. Oh, fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, I'll do it again. That's fine. It's
No,
even doing it at
saving
night
that.
when Casey's sleeping and it's in the garage. It's just wishing away.
It opens the garage door because it can do that. It drives down to the local car wash, goes through, it comes back. Yeah. Now I feel better.
Well, that'd be awesome. Can't wait till we can do that.
One more shout out for me. I want to give a welcome to the Tesla Life to Ryan and Kelly, my niece and nephew that have recently picked up their Model 3 SR Plus. So
Awesome.
right in the middle of this huge gas spike across the country, they've now kissed gas goodbye and couldn't be happier. So congratulations to the new owners.
That's awesome. Kick gas.
Exactly. Well, with that, we'll bid adieu. Thank you very much for watching this week. Join us next week, and together we will find out what is going on in the Tesla Life.
Yeah. Thank you, Lee Moon.
Stay positive. Test negative.
Good night, everyone.